This is the story of 1812, when a Swiss adventurer was passing through the Arabian desert in disguise. This adventurer, named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, lost his way and reached a narrow path between the rocks. After walking for about 1.5 kilometers between the two rocks, finally the path became a little wider, and he saw in front of him a magnificent structure made of limestone mountains. This ancient structure, located in southern Jordan, who and why had built it in this desolate desert valley? This structure was not built 127 feet high, but was carved on the mountain. Today it is called Khazni in Arabic, which means treasury, i.e., where the treasure is kept. Magnificent pillars rise from the bottom of the mountain, and on top of them are very delicate and beautifully carved designs. A very large entrance that leads to a room, but no design of any kind was made in this room. Only the natural beauty of the stone can be seen. The Swiss adventurer was very surprised by this view, so he decided to go deeper into the rocks. Perhaps he was very close to finding a lost city in history. Further, he saw a theater for about 6,000 people, and it was also carved on stone. A pathway leading to a structure like a very large temple. Some ruins indicating that there was once a city here. Many monuments were seen at the heights of the mountains. Burckhardt had already found the ruins of such a city, which had a lot of importance in history. This 2,000-year-old city is now known as Petra. But whoever lived here, how did they survive in this dry desert without water? Why did they carve the rocks and build the structures? What was their job in this desolate desert? And most importantly, why were they forced to leave all this? Welcome back to Poly TV Videos. When the Swiss adventurer saw all this, he remembered the story of a tribe living in the desert. He had heard that there was a tribe in the Arabian desert that traded silk and spices between China, India, Egypt, and Rome. And they used to hide their treasure in high cliffs. In Greek and Roman sources, these people are known as Nabateans. These Canabadish tribes were famous 2,000 years ago, and these people used to live in tents in the desert. But how did the people living in the tents succeed in making such a magnificent city like Petra? After this discovery of the desert, Petra began to gain international presence. Archaeologists and historians from all over the world began to visit this place so that this ancient mystery could be solved. It is obvious that the construction is 127 feet high, and that too is not an ordinary thing. But it is not an ordinary thing to carve a stone. For this, workers must have built a temporary structure around the building. As you must have seen today, during construction, a wooden structure is built around the building on which the workers stand and work. But not only the treasury, but other structures in Petra do not have such clear signs that can indicate its construction. After doing a lot of research and experiments, researchers found an incomplete structure in Petra, and perhaps the secret of its construction was hidden in it. Looking at it, it seems that this structure is only the upper part, and the rest of the limestone below has not been cut. This shows that the Nabateans used to start building any structure from above. Even in the construction of the treasury, they first climbed the rock next to it and dug a horizontal shaft in the mountain of limestone. Standing inside this shaft, they carved pillars and different designs, and then slowly went down. When the upper half of the structure was complete, the stone mound below would have accumulated so much that now they would have climbed its slope and easily completed the remaining half of the structure. This way of construction was not seen anywhere else on ancient sites around the world. Researchers got a hint about this trick when they carved a structure like Petra in America. The Nabateans left very little writing in Petra. Only in one or two places was something written in an Aramaic script. This language was used in the Middle East during the time of Jesus. It was written in this script that this tomb is very sacred, and whatever is inside it should never be changed or removed from here. But outside the chamber, it was written that there was nothing inside it except a few shelves. Looking at the size of these shelves, It was assumed that they were used to keep dead bodies. This place was actually their burial chamber. More than 800 such chambers have been discovered in the rocks of Petra. In the beginning, it was also thought that this city was a graveyard. But later, researchers also found some evidence here which also indicates that people were alive here. After estimating the size of the living area, it was found that between 20,000 and 30,000 people lived in Petra. But this is a city of 30,000 people, and that too in a barren desert. So where did these people get water from? A clue to this is found in a structure present in Petra which is called the Great Temple. There are some holes on the floor here. It seemed that water passed through it. When experts scanned this place with a GPR, i.e. ground-penetrating radar, an important clue was found. GPR sends radio signals to the ground. These signals collide with different materials in the ground and return at different speeds, like they collide with the soil and slowly return, and their speed increases in an empty space. Looking at the speed of the signals, it is estimated where there is an empty space under the ground. The results of the GPR showed that there is a network of channels under the temple floor, like plumbing is done before the construction of the floor at home. This evidence was enough to prove that there was an underground water network in Petra. But where did this water come from? Because this place is one of the driest places in the world. A reservoir of water is still used by locals, which is called Ain Musa. This natural spring provides water from below the ground, but the problem is that it is about 8 kilometers away from the Petra site. So now the question arises that how did the Nabateans bring water from Ain Musa 8 kilometers below the rocks? We get the clue in the narrow entrance of the treachery. Here, the marks of pipelines have been seen between the rocks, such a pipeline that was connected in small sections. When water passes through these small sections of the pipe, it must also leak. But if water was so important for the Nabateans, how would they let the water go to waste? When water passes through any pipeline, naturally air pockets are formed inside it, which create pressure inside the pipe and reduce the flow of water. This pressure pushes the walls of the water from inside, and if they are joined in a line, water will leak from them. Hydro engineers did many experiments, and it was found that if the angle of the pipe is lowered by 4 degrees, then there will be no air pockets in the pipe. The flow of water will also be good, and there will be no leakage. When experts saw the angle of the pipe laid in Petra, it was surprisingly lowered by exactly 4 degrees. That is, the Nabateans knew about this scientific principle 2,000 years ago, which we have recently discovered. After seeing all this, one thing is clear, that the Nabateans were masters of hydroengineering. In Petra, water was not only supplied from Ain Musa, but also from the flash floods coming from the mountains. Even today, when flash floods come here, they are quite deadly. Ancient dams were built at different locations in Petra to avoid them. Researchers have found about 5 ancient dams here, some of which have been preserved for 2,000 years. These dams were not only used to store water, but also saved the city from the destruction of floods. We have learned about Petra so far that the Nabateans living here traded between China, India, Egypt, and Rome. Their skills in carving stones and making structures were not seen anywhere else in the world. How did their engineers supply water to Petra in the desert? But one main question is still there. Why did this city become deserted? Why were the 30,000 people living here forced to leave their city? Ancient records tell us that there was a very dangerous earthquake in the year 363. And there is also a collection of such broken structures in Petra which is only used for earthquakes. Perhaps due to that earthquake, many of Petra's structures fell and the dams broke. After that, the same water that was the life of the city drowned them. Flash floods washed away the entire city and some of the remaining infrastructure, which the Nabateans had built for hundreds of years, turned into ruins. Now there was neither water left here nor any system. Traders changed their paths and the people of the city gradually moved to other cities. Petra was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985. And if you have seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, then the Holy Grail temple in it is actually Petra's Al-Khazne. I hope you will like and share this video of Poly TV. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.